Welcome to Really Cool Stuff for the Home podcast, sponsored by HomeWerks. And now with today's show on all the ways to improve your home is your host, Denise Sanchez.
Hi, everybody. This is Denise Sanchez from HomeWerks, Really Cool Stuff for the Home, where we strive to offer the best in the industry, whether it's no planned obsolescence, it's beautiful, and then the functionality of it. And that's where we'll make your homework better for you. And this today is probably what I would consider a two-parter. So last week, after, we had a big snowstorm I've been here many years and talked to people that have been here for 70 years, and they've never seen the likes of what happened last week. Most of the state was without electricity and a lot of us without water. And so it came to mind about what is clean. We were so concerned about what is clean, really clean, when we have to boil our water and, without having electricity or water for a week and being on the tail end of COVID, add that to the mix. So Jeff Polucci from Miele, the National Sales Trainer Manager for the entire U.S., who is a wealth of knowledge, very cool, lots of fun. He really went over a lot of interesting things about all the things that Miele had to offer, whether it's commercial equipment, dishwashers, washers, their fabulous washers, their dishwashers, even their vacuums. So we were talking mainly about the mechanics of what the process is to get clean. You had to keep the water at a certain temperature for a certain period of time. You had to have special programs in order to achieve results. But there is a second phase. It's not just equipment, but now it's also the cleaning products that you use. And this is where Jeff is going to educate us. Hi, Jeff. Thank you so much for agreeing to come back. I so appreciate your offering all your knowledge to my audience.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back with you. And I think your lead-in was perfect, because last week when we talked about primarily the machines, what the different agencies look for, whether they look for something or not, temperatures, agitations, things like that, we really just barely even mentioned one of the most important components of getting something truly hygienically clean, and that's the detergents. So it's a great way to finish up here.
And also too, Jeff, from day one, I've been selling Miele now, I think, since 1995, 97, something around there. So a long time. And they've always provided cleaning products to go with their machines. And why they did it was because they would say, unfortunately, our big box stores, they're price sensitive. And so being price sensitive, they don't have all the good stuff that you need to make your products look as good as they could look. So I've always carried all the products and been very successful with that. And the comments from customers have always been, it was a little bit more money, but it did a better job and it was more concentrated. So really it wasn't more money, it's just that it was packaged smaller. So, like you get these big box detergents in Costco or, wherever, and there are these huge things, but it takes so much of it to do the cleaning. Yes. So I know that they've had great products, and then they've done other things to enhance that. So this is going to be your deal, because I'm going to maybe capitulate a little bit, but I don't know as much as you do, Jeff, on this. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you.
Well, the good news is that this is my job, so I'm supposed to know it. So that's a good thing. But here's where I'd like to begin, and that's with the understanding that when people use detergent, they have a goal in mind, and the goal is to get something clean. It could be a pot, pan, plate, bowl, or dish. It could be a piece of clothing. It could be a window. You're going to use detergents to get something clean. But most people have either zero understanding of what detergents do or how they work, or they have the wrong understanding of how they work.
Even terminologies like enzymes.
Absolutely.
My own husband said, I was talking about the show today and about the 6 enzymes that they have in their washer detergent. What's that? What does that do?
Well, you probably remember about 12 years ago, there was a big transition in the United States in detergents from phosphates
Right.
to enzymes. And there was about a 2-year period when nothing worked.
Oh my
Right?
gosh.
I think, I mean, people complain constantly about my clothing isn't clean anymore. My dishes aren't clean anymore. You know, my whatever detergent just doesn't work anymore. I hate this new formula. Well, the
Mhm.
whole reason for that change was because the old chemical base was phosphates, and phosphates are extremely good at cleaning. They just don't break down in the environment for about 1,000 years. So they're
Right.
not good for the environment at all.
Or the
And
fishies.
so, well, yeah, I mean, so the idea was let's use something that's better for the environment. Now, the interesting point is that when you're making a detergent, there's several things that go into it, but the number one cost of making a detergent is the construction and design of the enzymes.
Mhm.
And enzymes can be made in ways that make them stronger or weaker. And what I mean by that is two things. Number one would be how many times can an enzyme uh, bind to a stain, break it, float it away, and then come back and do it again and again and
Mhm.
again and again. So the more times it can do that, the stronger it is. The second thing is how durable is the enzyme with regard to its ability to withstand temperature,
Right.
and even a more aggressive agitation. Well, most people naturally have no clue as to any of this.
Mhm.
So what they think is that when they go to the grocery store or whatever store they go to and they buy whatever detergent they buy, they really don't have much of a belief that they are any different. It's
Right.
only when you get into the boutique
Mhm.
type of specialty detergents that people think there's any difference whatsoever.
Mhm.
Well, the fact is they can be very, very different because I'll just give you one numerical example. I would say probably 95% of all the enzymes that you would buy at any store have a grand total of two different kinds of enzymes. Two.
Mhm.
Okay. If you buy an Up brand or a spot cleaner, you may get three. Okay. Um, there's a couple of them out there that actually have four. Okay. But even if they have one, two, three, or four, the enzymes for the most part tend to be very weak, meaning they either take a long time to activate, which means you're wasting time. And
Mhm.
number two, which means they don't have much time to clean. And number two, they die soon. So let's say, for the example, the main wash segment of your laundry, where you have a pre-wash and then a main wash,
Right. Right.
right? And then a couple of rinses. So the main wash is where the detergent is put into the water and mixes with the clothing. Okay. Well, if your detergent activates after 9 minutes and then is only active for 6 minutes, and your main wash is 20 minutes long, you're basically only cleaning for 6 minutes of a 20-minute cycle.
Right. Mhm.
Okay. So if you don't get a stain broken and floated away within 6 minutes within that cycle, then it doesn't come out. And here's what's even worse: enzymes are kind of like a key, and a stain is kind of like a lock. And you could have the best key in the world, but if it doesn't fit that lock, you're not opening the door.
Right.
So
Right.
you've got to have the right enzymes for the right stains.
Mhm.
Okay. So, not to mention the fact you've got to have surfactants in there as well for soils and oils. So, like for example, you obviously, you in your store, you've done a lot of cooking.
Mhm.
So it's not uncommon to wear an apron.
Right.
So on apron, you oftentimes have oil stains, right? Because you're cooking with
Oh,
oil, things
a
like that.
lot of stains.
Yeah, if you don't have the right enzyme, those oils don't come out.
Mhm.
And people don't realize that if you don't have the right key, you're not gonna unlock the door. You're not gonna get that stain out. You could use all the detergent in the world. And by the way, this is why most people use way too much detergent, because they think it doesn't work, when in fact the formula doesn't have the right components to
Mhm.
get the stains out of their clothing, right? That's why there are little additives out there, these little bottles of
Right.
additives you can get. Those are nothing more than bottles of specific enzymes.
Mhm.
So bottom line, this is why we, for example, Miele, when we developed our line of cleaning essentials, which you're well familiar with, and even the twin dose line, okay, we put in them, God, we spent so much money and time developing a formula that had 6 major enzymes. No one else does that. 6 major enzymes, and they activate within 2.5 minutes, and they stay alive the entire main wash.
That's a
So
big
not only do we
deal.
have it's a huge deal. I mean,
Huge.
not only does no one else have anything else like that, but there's really not a stain that we can't break down and float away.
Mhm.
And no matter what the temperature is, the enzymes don't die. So, I mean, people think that, detergents are all the same. They are not at all the same. Okay. And what's even worse is that the government doesn't require the list of enzymes to be on the back of the bottle. So when you're buying a powder or a bottle, they don't have to list what's in it.
Mhm.
So you don't know what formula you're getting.
A lot of people will buy a detergent just based on the smell. They're all the same.
Yep.
So they may buy one over the other because of a fragrance, and that's it.
Yep. Yep. So this is a tremendously misunderstood thing. And by the way, it's exactly the same thing for dishwashers.
Mhm.
Okay. So, for example, a lot of people use tabs, right?
Mhm.
Tabs. So when you put a tab into the dishwasher, the dispenser door will open, however it does it,
Mhm.
when the main wash is filling. Okay. Well, if the tab doesn't break down for 5 to 9 minutes, right?
Right.
And then let's say it's a pots and pan cycle, so the water's very hot. So within 5 minutes of breaking down, the enzymes go inert, right? Because they've exhausted themselves in the heat, in the hot water. Then again, what you are forced to do is pre-wash your dishes, right?
Crazy.
So again, when we were building our tabs for our dishwashers, one of the things I love to do is I'll give people a tab or two, and I say, I don't care what dishwasher you've got, try
Exactly.
this tab
Yeah.
because they're so good. I mean, the enzymes are so strong, they activate so quickly, and they clean the entire main wash. I mean, this is why we're so famous for our results. It's not just our machines;
Mhm.
it's actually the chemical component, which is so important, and they break down completely. They're completely harmless to the environment, which is spectacular.
Jeff, I wanted to impart this. When they were transitioning these from what was that product that you were saying from the
Phosphates.
phosphates and
Yep.
trying to build a new chemical with enzymes, I would get customers in and they would tell me, I'd ask them what their problem is. What do you like about your dishwasher? What do you don't like about your dishwasher? And when they would talk to me, oftentimes I would know that it had to do with the cleaning product. And so I didn't want to sell them, a dishwasher and have the same thing. So
Right.
I sold a lot of those Miele tabs. Miele did not have a transition problem. They
No,
were already way ahead of the game.
we were.
We still sell, Jeff, people that don't even own a Miele dishwasher. We still sell those people those tabs, and they're very reasonable price, but
Yep.
they do a great job. They really do. It's amazing. And I
Yeah.
never pre-wash my dishes.
Yeah. I mean, even rinse aids are different. I mean,
Mm.
like for example, if you go to the store and buy, whatever brand you're going to buy, if you look at our rinse aid, it's twice as concentrated, and if you look at our commercial rinse aid, it's 4 times as concentrated.
Mhm.
So half the amount can do as much as the regular amount for regular. And
Right.
it's so important for people to understand that no matter what machine you've got, and of course the machine matters, but whatever you've got in your home, the detergent can make a huge difference. Have you seen those commercials where the technician is leaning down over the door of a dishwasher and he says, I get a lot of complaints from people that say their dishwasher isn't working. It could be your detergent.
Mhm.
That's actually correct.
Mhm.
Okay. But a lot of people make the mistake of, no matter what detergent they have, they just use way too much of it. And,
Yes.
and this is a critical point. If you use too much detergent, the detergent, and this is in your clothing, in your washer or your dishwasher, the detergents, um, they don't rinse all the way,
Right.
and they leave residues, that kind of cake up over time,
Mhm.
and they can actually damage your machine. They can
Really?
damage the components, they can damage the electronics,
Mhm.
they can cause pumps to clog.
Right.
They can stop motors from turning.
Mhm.
They can even, depending on the acidity of the water, actually eat through the seams in the steel. So, believe it or not, the number one mistake people make is using too much detergent,
Right.
and they're actually destroying their machines. And I haven't even said anything about destroying their glasses,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Their glasses get cloudy white for that reason, but they can also be destroying their machine.
Yeah. We even have situations with Miele's when they don't use the proper detergent. And this usually occurs too with housekeepers, or
Yes,
maids.
yes.
They come in and they put in too much detergent. So we get complaints about the machine, a Miele machine. So our guys will go out there and they'll tell them, they know they're using too much detergent. We can interface, a computer with the Miele washer, and it will tell us how many times there was too much detergent every
Yep,
time. And we can nail them on that. And then
yep.
we'll educate them and show them how to do it properly. But it isn't more is better, that's for sure. And not only that, but when you have too much detergent in your clothes, it also holds onto dirt and grime more too, and
Oh,
stains,
yeah.
right?
Oh, not only that, but especially in your clothing, it leaves a residue in your clothing. And you know how a lot of people are looking for, say, low allergy detergents, right?
Mhm.
It's because they say they have a reaction.
Exactly.
It's actually, they actually don't have a real allergy. Only about 16.5% of the population has an actual genuine allergy to, enzymatically based detergents. The other 90% of people who think they have allergies are actually just reacting to the fact that they've got so much left in their clothing
Right.
that their skin is going.
Yeah. Right. Right.
That's what's happening. So
Yeah.
too much is really bad. And it's not just bad for your clothing or your plates or your glasses. It's actually bad for you and it's bad for your machine.
Mhm. And it can't be helpful to the environment either, putting too much soap like that down the drain. That's
No,
crazy.
no.
So, and then you had really specialized stain removers on
Yep.
top of that.
Yep.
And so one of my favorite ones is the down
Yeah.
product that you have.
Yeah.
Talk about that and why that's so critical to use the right soap or cleaning product for your down products.
Absolutely. It's and it you're talking about our Capto series and
Right,
the
right, right, right.
but we also have it in bottle form if people
Right,
want to use it.
exactly.
But
Mhm.
the but those particular formulas are specifically made for that type of clothing. And have you used the down one?
Oh, yes, I
Okay.
use it on my down pillows and my
Yeah.
down comforter.
So you notice that they come out like almost new,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
It's because down feathers have an oil in them, okay? And you don't want to get rid of those oils. So the formulation of that detergent is specifically designed to fluff the feathers, clean the feathers, but leave the oils in the feathers so that your down, say, comforter, vest, coat, or pillow puffs.
Yes, loft.
Yes, yes. So it's a spectacular formula. There are several others that are quite impressive. One of my favorites is the booster.
Yes, you were talking about that another time. Talk about that because I find that amazing.
The booster is a small cap, like a Keurig, right? Small cap of a concentrated solution of all six major cleaning enzymes.
Mhm.
Okay, and they're the strongest ones you can buy. The only way you can get a detergent that is stronger is to go into a commercial setting, but they're not enzymatically based. Those are pH based, high pH based. They're alkali based. Okay, so but for enzymes, you can't get stronger enzymes than these. So for example, if you were using your own powder, your own liquid, or even a like a pod in the drum, you could put that booster into the drawer and it would be like putting your own detergent on steroids.
Right.
Okay. Because the enzymes that are in that capsule are far stronger and there are far more of them. I mean, they're not just two categorical enzymes, there are six.
Mhm.
So you get all the major stain breakers in far greater quantity with greater strength and durability. So it's like taking your own detergent and multiplying it by 10.
Mhm.
So things that wouldn't come out will come out.
Mhm. Right. So that would be like, how on the Miele washers, you can give it a setting as to how stained, lightly soiled,
Yes.
medium soiled, or heavily soiled. So that
Yes.
would be on top of that, even, right? So say
Oh,
you have
absolutely.
now that
Yeah.
you've been using for your when you put your makeup on, and it's got all this makeup and stuff. So that would work on that, right?
I run into that all the time. Absolutely. Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. But but there are so many variables. But you've got your agitation You've got your temperature, you've got your ascension of temperature over time. You've got water concentrations, water level, saturation speed. There's a bunch of things that determine how your clothing is going to get clean. But the detergent is really the catalyst that makes it all work, right? And using too much destroys everything. Using too little doesn't get the job done.
Right.
Using the right amount of a bad detergent, as a matter of fact, using the right amount of a bad detergent, all it really does is causes stains to kind of sink further into the clothing. You'll get the surface off, but then the rest of it will kind of sink in. One of the most common effects is when people use too little detergent, and it causes something called graying. You ever heard of that?
Right. Oh,
Graying?
yes, especially with white towels. You really see
That's exactly right. White t-shirts, socks, underwear, towels. It causes graying because what it does is it kind of elevates the stain and then it breaks it down and it settles right back on. It's kind of like spreading peanut butter, all over your clothing. So the concentrated stain gets spread all through the entire garment. That's called graying, and that's because that's exactly what happens when people use too little detergent.
So even with the Miele brand, you could use too much detergent, let's just say. But I think
Absolutely.
it is amazing how Miele is trying to circumvent that as well. So on a lot of their models of their dishwashers and also on their washers, now they have products that are in a certain type of container so that you can put it inside the machine, and now it not only dispenses but it doses depending on how dirty the water is and what you're trying to do. And I think that's amazing. That's so smart. So now you can't get too little, too much on anything.
Well, that's actually exactly why we did it. It wasn't for the longest time, we kind of left the detergent quadrant alone of the cleaning circle. We left it alone. And we left it alone because there are just so many out there, right?
Right.
But we finally realized, wait a minute, we're putting all of these millions and millions of dollars into engineering a machine that is second to none, right? That gets everything right, but people are putting in lousy detergents. So we decided that we would invest in the detergent quadrant to get it right. And what you were referring to is the dishwashers with auto dose,
Right.
and the washing machines with twin dose. And the idea there is, let's create a perfect machine that does the agitation, the temperature, everything is electronically controlled, monitored and adjusted based on what's in the machine. But then let's let the machine decide what level of detergent to use, when to add it, how to sequence it, okay, and how much to use. So all of the quadrants are now filled. In other words, you can't get it wrong now. You've got the right amount for the right reason at the right time in the right sequence with the right formula. So you can generate what we try to achieve was perfect results. This is where people come in and I tell people, you don't know what clean is.
Right.
Until you've seen this, right? So not only does your detergent last longer, but you're being safer on the environment and you're getting results that are frankly unbelievable. I mean, when a stain comes out that's been in your clothing for years, people are like, how is this even possible? As a matter of fact, you were talking earlier about, the little cap doses.
Right.
Have you tried the Cotton Renew yet?
You know what? I have not yet, but tell the audience about that. That is just an amazing product.
Okay, that is one that's almost like magic. The first time I saw that demonstrated, I honestly thought that the chemists, we had our German chemists come over, when they were here in the United States, we thought they were just playing a joke on us. Because what we did was we took a really old multi-colored towel,
right,
and it was old and faded, right? And we cut it in half, and we put one half on the table, and we washed the other half using this Cotton Renew, right? Which is a super concentrated cellulase type of enzyme, okay? And so we pulled this thing out, we dried it, and we laid it down on the table right next to the original cut. And the one that we washed, I won't say it looked brand new, but it looked significantly brighter and colorful than the other one. And I thought, there's no way. There's no way. And then they explained how it worked. And cellulase is what they do is they kind of weave into your fabric and they take away all those little broken pieces of fabric. You know what thatching your lawn is?
Right. Yes.
Well, this is kind of like a chemical thatch for your fibers. It gets all the broken fibers out from your weave, and your colors come back.
Great
And
analogy.
so it's unbelievable. And when I saw it for the first, I've got pictures, Denise, that would blow your mind of
I
black jeans that weren't black that became
yeah.
black again.
Yes, I heard about one lady that had a favorite pair of jeans or something that
Yep.
she restored. I
Yep.
heard about that. I just have not done it, but I need to do it because there are some clothes that I need to do that. And
Well, if you do, make sure that you take something that, like,
yes,
just try it. Just
before
take
and after.
something that you can like cut,
Uh-huh.
okay, and leave one side out and put the other side, and just
Oh,
see for
t-shirts.
yourself.
I hear it's
Yep.
amazing on
Yep.
t-shirts.
Yep. Absolutely.
Especially if you have like a favorite t-shirt that, you went somewhere as a
Yep.
tourist and you brought back that t-shirt and
Yep.
fond memories and you want to keep it going a little bit longer, right? That's a
Absolutely.
good product for that. And they have
Absolutely.
other things as well too, like for silks and for wool. I mean,
Silks and
and
wools, yeah.
also for your luxurious black. So, what's different about that black as opposed to colors? Because on the Miele washer, you can definitely do with their cartridges that you insert. You can do color or you can do the whites. But what makes that black a little bit different that keeps your black lasting longer?
Believe it or not, the thing that makes black jeans not black
Mhm.
is remnants. It's remnants of the detergent left on the jeans.
Mm-hmm.
And so a detergent uh, that restores black goes into that fiber and just leaves absolutely nothing in it,
Mhm.
right? I mean, you'll notice if you poured it out in a glass, it's very thin. It's very thin, okay? And the actual concentrated detergent is very low, all right? But it's enough to clean it, but not enough to leave anything behind.
Mhm.
So all you're really doing is removing the coating
Mhm.
that's on the black jeans, and they come right back. Like I said, I've got some before and after pictures that are astonishing.
Right. And I remember too, let's talk about this a second. I remember that I was at KBIS. I think it was, and I was in Las Vegas, I think. And do you remember, because you were there, Jeff, Miele had a beautiful booth. This is the Kitchen and Bath show we're talking about, and it's a huge annual show. But you had the German chemists there, and they were showing how little bit of this and that can make a difference in the composition, of the product and what it could do. And that was pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, I've done all of those demonstrations, and they are really they're really quite fundamental in terms of helping people understand that even one drop too much detergent does nothing more.
Exactly. That's
You
what,
know? And if you I don't know if you've ever seen excuse me, like pod commercials,
you're
and
right.
you'll never see them throw in one pod. It's always
Oh,
two.
yes.
Yep. And they always make the cap on the bottle much bigger
Uh-huh.
than the size it says to use.
Uh-huh.
If it says use half a cap, they always use a full cap,
Yeah. Hmm.
right? If it says use half a scoop, people use a full scoop. So
Well, you
that they
put my
make the dispensers, yeah, they make them much bigger than they need to be because they want you to use more
yes.
because they know it's not going to do any better job, but you're going to go through it faster and buy
Right.
more.
Yes, there you
So what
go.
the chemists were trying to show you, and I remember that like it was yesterday, but what they were trying to show you was even one drop
Yes.
does nothing more.
Right. Exactly.
So what they tell you to use, you should use.
That was astounding. That really opened my eyes,
Yeah.
as the too much, detergent is not better. More is not better. And then another thing that I think is amazing is that you take all this into the concept of how they auto dispense, but now they take into you can set the water hardness. It detects the how dirty the water is. All this to make sure, the programming, how much is in there. There's not just a couple of things. There was a lot of information these machines take in order to give you the best result, along with the right
Well,
product.
and that's because you could have the best detergent in the world, but if you've got hard water,
Yes,
those enzymes aren't going to activate.
right.
So if you've got really soft water, those enzymes are going to go absolutely bananas.
Right.
Okay, so being able to tell the machine how hard your water is,
Right.
helps it decide how much detergent to dispense.
Right. That's amazing.
Well, but
Again,
you know where this came from, Denise? It came from the fact that over the past 20 years,
uh-huh.
the washing machines and dishwashers have gotten so water efficient,
Right. Right.
right? Because of Energy Star, they've gotten so
Right.
water efficient
Uh-huh.
that everything has become a very careful balancing act. You know, it used to be that a washing machine would use 40 gallons per load and a
Uh-huh.
dishwasher would use 20 gallons per load.
Right.
And there was so much water that it just didn't matter how
Mhm.
much detergent you put in there because it was all going to get flushed away anyway. Now, washing machines are using 8
8 gallons.
gallons of
Not
water.
all, but Miele's
You know,
only use 8.
yeah, I mean, dishwashers are using 3, 4 gallons.
Right.
So the detergents, people are still in the habit of using way too much detergent, but
Mhm.
what they're using is so much more than that little bit amount of water needs.
Right.
And they're just, it's a learning curve. There's no doubt about it. But people do waste a lot of it. That's for sure.
And this has been so informative. And you've made it so interesting once again. And we're once again out of time. I don't know how it happens with you,
Oh
Jeff,
my God.
but I know 30 minutes just flies by with you. It
Wow.
really does. It really does.
Well,
And
I hope your audience finds it used. That's a big
oh,
topic.
I find it useful, and I've heard this before, but it's so important, the understanding of this, that it really makes a difference. And I think once before people, I would go, why do you use that product? Well, I like the way it smells, or that's my mom used, or my grandma used. It's just a habit. But we got to
Yep.
start thinking more about what the detergents do and how they interact.
No doubt.
Cost is important, but just a little bit more might give you, all the clothes that you put in these wash machines and all your dishes. Doesn't it matter about protecting those? I mean, just a little bit more maybe make a difference of a t-shirt lasting 10 years as opposed to a year, right? I mean, and that's very, very reasonable to expect.
People are so concerned about the cost of the detergent, they forget about the cost of their clothing or
Exactly.
their dishes.
And
It's
none of that
crazy.
is cheap anymore. It's very expensive,
No.
especially if you're buying something that
Absolutely.
you're investing in a wardrobe, like your career wardrobe, that sort of thing.
Yeah, would
So,
I spend another 10 cents on a tab to
yeah,
protect $100 sweater?
exactly.
Yeah, I
And
would.
especially a favorite sweater. It's hard to
Absolutely.
come by our favorite clothes, so we want to protect.
Yes.
Well, Jeff, these are reasons why we offer the things that we do, because these are the very products that really do make your homework better for you. With Miele products, and Miele has a great website, and they actually go over all these products on their website, to give you a lot of information if you want to further, examine what they have to offer. Or we carry everything in our store, and we are very knowledgeable, maybe not as knowledgeable as Jeff, but now we have this video podcast that we can refer to. I'm not stupid. But I really appreciate this, Jeff. I really do.
My pleasure.
And
Thank you.
of course, HomeWorksSA.com. And then also you can view this on Pandora, iHeartRadio, just anywhere, or go to YouTube or to our homepage, HomeWorksSA.com. And at the top of the page, you'll see our video podcast YouTube, and just click on that and you'll find all these wonderful podcasts that Jeff was my guest host with. So, Jeff, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Denise. It's been fun. Thank you so much.
Really cool stuff for the home. We'll make your homework better for you.